Now, as the doctor is telling me this, all I can hear is coughing and choking of the other patients in the other rooms next door to me, which was scary. I wasn't coughing still. I just had shortness of breath. There was no chest pain or anything at this time. I said, okay, well, I have high-risk people. If I have it, I don't want to take it home to them. I'm willing to take the test. So they took a lot of blood from me, 8 vials, I remember, and just had me wait. They also sent me to get a CAT scan of my chest cavity as well. So I did everything, and then, in the ER, it's just a waiting game at this point. So with the blood, I was thinking that they were testing me for COVID. Now, at the time, they were saying the way to take tests were through the nasal cavity. A nasal swab was never done for me at that time, just the blood draws. So probably after waiting about 3 or 4 hours, I demanded to get my phone back because my family was in the dark. My husband, who was sitting in the parking lot, was in the dark. No one knew what was going on with me. Here I am, completely naked with just a robe on, freezing my butt off, not knowing what's going on. After 3 or 4 hours, a nurse came in and says, hey, we're about to discharge you. I said, well, okay. What about my blood work? What about my CT scan? What about, did you do the test? Well, Ms. Jester, that's just the thing. I know the doctor said that he was going to test you, and you said you wanted to test, but we can't give it to you right now. Well, why not? Because you're young, Felecia. Ms. Jester, you're only 38. You don't have cancer. I'm like, what? Yeah, we're only saving tests for cancer patients or the elderly at this time. Mind you, I've been there 3 or 4 hours. I'm freezing. My chest is starting to hurt. I'm having issues breathing. No one gave me a nasal cannula for my breathing. No one even gave me pain medicine for my chest pain. It's just the blood draw, the CT scan. Now you get to go home. Mind you, I told them about the high-risk family members that I had here as well. So I wouldn't take no for an answer. I thought that wasn't enough. I was very offended at the fact that they wasn't even trying to give me a test to prevent maybe spreading it to my family, my co-workers, just anybody else. And I told her that. So she goes to get the doctor. The doctor comes back with a CT scan, my pictures of my lungs, and a picture of a COVID-19 patient lungs to give me a sense of ease. They wanted to show me, oh, look, Ms. Jester, your lungs, look at how your lungs look clear versus this patient with COVID-19. In mine, in the middle, it looked clear, but on the outside lining surrounding my lungs, I can see a thick layer. They told me that was inflammation and that I had pleurisy, whereas the COVID patients in the middle was white, thick, and had swirly stuff. And I guess it did kind of give me a sense of comfort knowing that my lungs looked way better than the person that they said had COVID-19. So they sent me home to get better. When I got home, it did not get better. It got worse. The body aches, the muscle pain, the swelling. Now, mind you, on my CT scan, I could see the swelling or the inflammation around my lungs. But at home, now physically the swelling started to take place. You can physically see the swelling with my chest. My ribs, my lungs, and my back were soft, like jello to the touch. It was very hot to the touch. I knew then that something was extremely wrong. Sitting up was very painful. Laying down was very painful. The coughing got really bad. Now, initially, I didn't have the cough, but it got to the point where I would have coughing spells. I would just cough like crazy for 10 to 15 minutes at a time. Didn't know how to relieve my pain. Went back to the doctor. They gave me some cough syrup with codeine to try to alleviate that. That did not help. Put me on a different, stronger antibiotic. That did not help. This is a virus. I'm not a medical professional, but I do know and I've done enough research that antibiotics is only for bacteria. For some reason, they just kept giving me antibiotics. I ended up taking 3 different types of antibiotics. The prednisone steroid wasn't working. It got to the point where my husband had to give me massages to get me to sleep at night. He would have to rub my ribs. He would have to rub my back and my chest and sit me up and lean me over. He went to school for respiratory therapy. Thank God for that. So he took his medical training to give me comfort. I remember him checking my pulse at night. He was thinking I was asleep, or maybe thinking that I wasn't alive. He would put his fingers on my neck, checking my carotids. He would put his fingers on my wrist, checking my pulse. I believe I can hear him crying at night. I can hear my mother crying at night, my children. People are just so afraid. And for the first time in my life, I'm a very strong individual. It takes a lot to rattle me. I was afraid. The doctors wasn't helping me. They didn't know how to help me. My PCP, I don't know if it was just arrogance or, I don't know. He didn't know what to do and wouldn't tell me he didn't know what to do. He just kept throwing different prescriptions for me. So I would probably guess I've been on maybe 20 prescriptions. I am on day 94. I finally tested negative on May 18th. My COVID journey started March 11th. I tested positive April 9th after going to the doctors 5 times, including the ER. No doctor ever tested me for COVID-19. One day on TV, they announced that CVS at Georgia Tech were going to be doing COVID-19 testing. I immediately signed up, which was a battle. It took me 3 days to get an appointment. They were always booked. I actually got an appointment at 4 o'clock in the morning, in the middle of the night. I was up in pain anyway. That was such a blessing for me in disguise. Went up there. We was in line for about 2 or 3 hours, but I did get the nasal swabs, and within 20 minutes, I got my positive results. I knew I had been positive the whole time, but it's surreal when you actually get that actual diagnosis and you see it on paper, because they give you this document saying, hey, you're COVID-19 positive. It's big letters, it's in bright red, it says hazard on it, and it tells you stay away from people. Quarantine yourself for 14 days, and that's it. It doesn't tell you anything else to do. Just stay away from people, stay away, stay away, stay away. Now, this is April 9th. I've been sick since March 11th, been around my house of 11 people. Oh my God, did I infect my loved ones? I remember just crying, which was very painful. I couldn't cry long. You'd be surprised how much lung capacity you need to cry, to laugh. And I was like, oh my God, did I give it to my family members? Now, this was day, 28, 29. No one in my home still was having any symptoms, just myself. God is so good, such a blessing. I remember driving from my way home from the testing site at Georgia Tech. My mom actually was driving me. And I was just praying to God, like, oh my God, I am positive. I do have this virus that caused a pandemic that shut down the world. Please, Lord, don't let me infect my husband, my mom, my kids, my family. And that's just where we are right now. Even testing negative May 18th, it's surreal. You think that, okay, now that I'm negative, you can go back to normal. I can go back to being healthy. I can go back to work. I can go back to playing around with my kids, shooting basketball with my son in the yard. But no, I now have a pulmonologist. Been talking for a long time. And I don't know if you can see, but I'm having issues now, just gasping for air, because I'm talking for a long period of time. Pulmonologist, I'm still on steroids. I have a albuterol nebulizer machine. I have a inhaler now. Never used these a day in my life. Speaking of that nebulizer machine, I do have to let you guys know, everyone who's very sick with COVID-19 does not have to be ventilated. As I've been doing my research, so many people have lost their lives because they were ventilated. It's a blessing, now that I look back on it, that they did not keep me in the hospital. I know for a fact that I would have needed to be ventilated. I had so many days here at home where I could not breathe. Purple lips, purple nails. It feels like someone smothering me with a pillow, and then another person, while that person is smothering me, trying to suffocate me, another person is taking a butcher knife and stabbing me in the heart. That's what COVID-19 felt like for me. I couldn't breathe. The pain is, I'm in pain now. It hurts now to talk. I can't describe the pain. I got a cardiologist now. I have a pulmonologist. No one knows why I'm in so much pain. My ribs hurt so bad still. On day 94. I just want to go back to normal. I just want to be healthy again. I'm tired. I'm so tired. I'm tired of going to the doctor. I'm tired of people saying, "Are you okay?" The concern in my husband's eyes. Because he don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. No one knows what to do. No one knows what to give me. On Tuesday, today is Sunday, the 14th. On Wednesday or Tuesday, the 16th, I will be hooked up to a heart monitor. I'm going to have to wear a heart monitor now. I'm having to have pulmonary function tests to figure out why I can't walk to my mailbox without getting shortness of breath. Why I can't laugh or cry like I'm doing now and can barely breathe. Someone who's never, ever had any issues with asthma. No heart issues. I don't know. I took blood tests on Friday, Thursday, and they haven't came back yet. I don't know what these blood tests are going to say. I've been to pincushion lately. I've had 3 blood tests in the IV in the past 7 days. I did have another CT scan. They thought maybe I had a pulmonary embolism. They're looking for blood clots. That's negative, you know. And I'm so tired of doctors looking at me like, "Well, have you been on the vent?" Well, no, I haven't been on the vent. And you're 38? Yes. So that doesn't make me any less sicker because I didn't have to be hospitalized. Your body tells you when something is wrong. I know that I'm not 100%. I'm not sure if I'll ever be 100%, being 38 years old with 4 kids and a husband. But I'm a fighter. I'm going to continue to be strong. I'm going to continue to tell anybody who wants to know about my journey, because they're not telling us everything on television. They're not telling us how painful it is. I know for a fact having a nebulizer machine at home saved my life. Everyone in my household, my husband and my 4 children, are asthmatic. I was the only one who did not have asthma. In the winter, I would have to put my husband and my kids on a nebulizer machine with their albuterol. By the grace of God, when it came down for me not being able to breathe, they machines helped me. My husband, having that respiratory training, his brilliance, thank God he thought about it. He said, let's put you on this machine. Let's just see if it helps you. And some days when it barely helped, he picked up the phone and would dial 911, and I remember hitting his arm and like, "Do not call 911. I refused to go to the hospital. People were dying. They still are dying in the hospital. Our people, Black people, are dying in the hospital. And I know why. My experience at the hospital, they gave me nothing. When I looked at my discharge papers, it literally said coronavirus highly likely, coronavirus possible. They would refuse to test me, but felt that I had it, which I did, and sent me home to infect my family. that I told them I had here, my kids, my parents. It's a shame how they treat us. They assumed I didn't have insurance. I have $20,000 in medical bills right now with good insurance. I've been on my job for a long time. I have great insurance. So imagine what they do to those who do not have insurance. I'm smart. I'm educated. Imagine those who they feel are not educated. That's from the undesirable neighborhood or a low income neighborhood. You know, this systemic racism goes beyond anything. It's in our medical system right now. You know, I felt I've been discriminated against by my own PCP because people just throwing me off like I'm making it up. He even told me, oh, this is psychological. Me not being able to breathe is in my mind. Are you kidding me? Me not being able to get in the shower. I took a shower this morning before this interview. Showers are so devastating for me. I don't shower every day anymore. I wash up, but I can't. I get out the shower and I feel smothered. I get a lot of chest and lung pain getting out of the shower. No one can explain that right now. They don't say this on the television. My kidneys are hurting me. I don't know why. I think I may have to call a neurologist at this point. But I'm still trying to get this pulmonology and cardiology situation together. I'm having a lot of heart pain, a lot of palpitations, shortness of breath. It gets very, very shadow at night. I don't know what the shadow breathing is about. That's scary because I don't know if that shadow breathing is going to just stop. Still on day 94 after testing negative. All these steroids they have me on, I'm having migraines now. I'm gaining weight from the medication. I don't know if I'm having these side effects can be from all the medications that they have me on. So on a daily basis, right now I'm on steroids. I'm on a pill steroid. I'm on an inhaler steroid that I have to take to prevent my shortness of breath and wheezing that I never had before. I have this, my albuterol inhaler. So when I do have uncontrollable shortness of breath or wheezing, can give me immediate relief. If this does not help and I'm at home, then I take the nebulizer machine where I wear a mask on my face. And like I mentioned, starting Tuesday, there's the heart monitor that I'm gonna have to start carrying around for at least 30 days. So I hope I just reach somebody. You're not alone if you've been sick almost 100 days. You've been sick longer than the 14 days that they tell you. They tell you 14 days you go back to your normal life. 14 days you go back to work. 14 days you go back to being yourself and being around people. That's not true. At least not for me, it's not. That's not true. You do not have to have pre-existing conditions. You do not have to be elderly to be sick with COVID-19. I am blessed that my household of 11 people, I'm the only one that's been sick. I do want to let you know, my audience, that my family did not quarantine me. They did not separate from me. My husband, from day one, slept in the same bed with me. I know it was God that blessed my family from this horrible virus. I was prophesied to me from someone I barely know. God said he heard my prayer on April 9th when I begged him to please let no one in my family get this horrible illness. He let the stranger tell me that he heard my prayer. He heard my cry. He is real. I've been sick for so long to protect my family. I'm the one that was low risk of being fatal. Like I mentioned before, I'm the one that doesn't have a pre-existing condition. I'm the one without the asthma. Imagine if my family members have caught this horrible illness with pre-existing conditions, asthma, diabetes that they have. I feel so blessed, and I'm blessed to share my journey and my story with you. May God bless you. Please, I beg you, this is not a joke. I've had people tell me that coronavirus is fake. It's not fake. Protect yourself. Wash your hands. Wear your gloves. Wear your mask. Stay away from those. If you feel sick, if you have a cough, if you just feel like you have a cold, please separate yourself from others. God bless you and thank you.